where the president seemed not too happy with those who've been going on with campaigns.
From endless weekend politicking among key leaders in churches to routine grassroots campaigns guised as development launching tours,
Members of Parliament,
the country is literally in a political mood, more than 2 years to the next general election. And not spared of this political fever is President Uhuru Kenyatta's Mount Kenya home turf. But the man considered to be on his exit lane as he serves his final term in office took to his Kikuyu dialect on Sunday at this Akorino conference in Kasarani with a strongly worded warning against politicians in his backyard engaging in early campaigns.
Mikoreno to dhurete tuleta siasa. Matigecirie nie ndikihe kiao. Matigecirie nie ndikihe. Netoigua. Na matikondogamia barabara ĩrĩa ndĩthondekeire ĩrĩa ndĩrenda gũkinya.
The Constitution bars President Kenyatta from seeking re-election after his 2 terms which lapsed in 2022. And his deputy William Ruto has been angling to succeed his boss at the House on the Hill in a race slowly crystallizing into a likely face-off against Kenyatta's newfound ally, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. A tug of war which has split Kenyatta's Jubilee Party between the anti-Ruto Kieleweke group against Ruto's allies under the Tanga Tanga outfit. Both of these strongly rooted in Kenyatta's Mount Kenya home turf.
Mundu agikorwo we mweshimiwa coka gicagi gwaku wake cukuru wikirire andu thitima na mbeca irio hetwo tiga guku guthiuruka ugitwiraga uri ukaneneha gutire kundu ugathie utari na andu aya.
Interestingly, this is not President Kenyatta's first such warning to defiant politicians in his backyard. In November last year, Uhuru, while on a tour of Nyeri, demanded that Mount Kenya leaders shun early campaigns and shift their energies to development.
Hado gutinda magithiuruka guku na inegene ritaremenyekanire anaku. Maikare the moke moige o niguo turenda tubange nigetha tucokie urimi wa kahua gwitu. Na nigetha andu aitu mateithike ithe tigo tugikienda andu aitu ti horo wa gutira tukiganirwo ngano cia marimu guku itare kuri iratutwara.
This was later followed by a retreat of Mount Kenya leaders in Naivasha before meeting cabinet secretaries from the region to discuss development projects the region should prioritize. Before long, however, the leaders were back to their Tanga Tanga and Kieleweke campaigns. Curiously though, on this day, Ruto steered clear of politics.
Kazi ambayo ulianzisha ya kuwapatanisha Wakenya. Biblia inatufundisha Mathayo 5:9. Heri wapatanishi kwa sababu wataitwa wana wa Mungu.
Nitwekere matawa ma shopping center nigetha atumia itumendagie mboga ciao na gikorwo ni thaa 9 cia tuku. Maundu macio nimo twina bata namo. Tikanua gaku ga gutura haho tuthiururukagia. Sorry ne kwaria ndi murakaru. No muthini ndagia na kahinda.
But for a country where political realignments begin almost immediately after the announcement of the winner in one election, President Kenyatta is no doubt headed into murkier times as he steers his final term. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News.
Well, and then evidently very, very angry president right there and reading the riot act for those who've continued with campaigns. So let me bring it now to the panel, and I'll start with you, Honorable Mwashako, on the question of whether this is just another rant and rave. We have some Kenyans here via Twitter who are saying we've had this before, it's happened before, and that has not necessarily stopped Team Tanga Tanga and Team Kieleweke to go ahead with whatever they need to do.
Thank you, Kitonga. I'll tell you, as I mentioned earlier, we will see more of this from the president. Truth be told, that the president means very well for the country. that, and I'm sure even as you talk about Big Four, his legacy is around leaving this country a united country. And in his dialect, he spoke about making sure that every Kenyan will work and do business in every corner of the country without really fearing the next election, really.
In a nutshell, he was talking about development, because he also refers and says MPs who have been elected, go back to your constituencies, do what you need to do with the money that you've been given.
Indeed, and that's what I'm saying. It is true that we must, as leaders, as elected leaders, we must tone down in our political rhetoric and just getting out and really speaking about 2022 in every opportunity we get, either it's a church, whether it's a fundraiser, anywhere we get.
But Mheshimiwa, the question would be, and the Bible even asks a question and says, can the leopard change its skin? Now, with politicians, is it possible for them to, that's what they're made, that's what they do, that's what they're...
It is true. Politics may not really, we cannot do away with politics on a day-to-day, but when we're talking about succession, we're talking about 3-year election that is 3 years to come, then it really hurts where we know our history of this country, how divided we have been, how political campaigns have really divided the country, either tribes or across divides. And now we're saying, I think there's an opportunity, having brought Honorable Raila Odinga on board, and now the president, the country aside a new lease of life. We knew now we're getting to the place that every Kenyan would be proud of. And I can tell you, if this did not happen, this handshake thing, really, it has made the country move on. Every time you sit to discuss with economists, to discuss with everyone who is looking at the numbers of the country, our numbers are getting better. Tourism numbers are getting better because of this handshake. And we're saying, maybe we have an opportunity here. The president is saying, let us wait a little bit. Let us not go out really and say, this is where we are in 2022, I'll vote for this, I'll vote for that. I'll tell you, Gitonga, I'm a politician. I have who I support. But it doesn't mean that in every meeting I do, I have to keep talking about who I support. First thing, Wananchi gave me a mandate to bring in development, as the president says. I know the challenges my people are going through. I know the challenges that Kenyans are going through. Thereby, it is our duty, first of all, to deliver to the electorate.
To the electorate. All right, let me come to you, Honorable Beatrice Elachi. When a president comes out and says things with very strong language, and it's not the first time that he has done that, it also leaves the electorate somewhat disillusioned, because it's not the first time that he has said it, and you'd expect, because of his position as president, the minute he speaks, especially with such authority and that kind of tone of voice and language, action must be done. But when he says that once, twice, 3 times and nothing is done, then even those that he's saying undermine him, continue to do so.
Well, and I think that is why he feels a bit frustrated, that I have spoken to my people, I have explained to them. But my question will be, is it only Central Province where we are going for elections? Because Central Province needs to tell us. By the way, the other sides they have toned down. You will only find them doing politics maybe when they are in the normal places they go, funeral. And their politics, you listen to it, is a very different politics.
From that of Central.
But Central, you've decided to divide yourselves. You have decided that is where the battle is of the whole elections of 2022. I think that is what is making him feel, look, we have, Kenya is big. So this campaign you are doing, and it is members of Central Province who have decided to campaign all over the country. So we are wondering, they have not given us a candidate. We know the DP is there. His region is very good, it's moving on. They are very quiet, doing a lot of development, by the way. They are not fighting each other.
So the issue here is actually targeted on Central Province mainly.
So me, I don't it is for Central Province to tell us, what is the problem? Do you have a leader? Fine, you believe the president is leaving, and therefore you must, but you have not even coined the leader. So I would plead with them, go back to your backyard, coin your leader, so that even when the deputy president is coming there, you show him, this is our leader. This is
the person to look to.
This is the person, because he will be president, so who is deputy? They haven't told us. So even if and I think that is why the president is wondering, fine, You are galvanizing and saying you are helping our people to support this candidate and this. But you have not told our people our interest. Who's sitting on the table? Yeah, you've decided our president, you don't need him. So who's sitting on
Who's
your
sitting
table,
on that table
to decide your interests? I mean, come on, Central Province. I thought you are the people who take control of this country. So what has happened in this backyard?
Whether do you agree that it's mainly targeted at Central Province, and also the aspect of the president getting more and more angry with Central Province? It seems like they're pulling apart from what he's trying to do.
I think, first of all, I have this is not the first time the president is throwing tantrums. I've always said on this forum that the president should reduce these tantrums and should continue. He has only 2 years within which to deliver the 4 agenda items. So when he sees people dying in Baringo and he sees some of them dying in Turkana, it means that something has not gone down well. And these tantrums will not help. These campaigns will increase. In fact, I think I've heard the people of Lowland urging Honorable Raila to declare. The other day they said Uhuru should endorse him. But because he has not declared, people think he should. Central, where the president comes from, is like a settled, they'll not go for the presidency this time. That's why there's a heightened activities in Central. And then part of Western, because Western also divides itself. It doesn't matter whether one of their sons or daughters is running for the president. And Mheshimiwa, the deputy president, seems to have set his eyes. And he's playing the same script that Honorable Raila played in 2007. You concentrate on work as he goes around campaigning. By the time you wake up, the ground has shifted. So I really don't think somebody is going to listen to the president. They are only going to be courteous. They are honorable, disciplined. As he talks, they stand and say development. But when they go out, they do the politics. The sad part is that the deputy president and the president are the people who should be delivering on the promises they gave us, the 4 agenda items: affordable, quality healthcare, good, available, nutritious food. Even if they don't bring us those housing and many things, at least those two. Now, if there is a failure, there will be a failure on the legacy of the president, and then the deputy president appears to be preparing to leave and say it is President Uhuru failed, me, I was on this side, I was told Tanga, and so on and so forth. So I think the president should re-examine. He is not being failed by the people running around Tanga. He is not being failed by the MPs politicking. He is being failed by the cabinet secretaries he appointed.
Who he has authority and power to fire.
And he has complained, oh, you people, why are you doing this to me? But he doesn't want to fire them. Some of them are outrightly incompetent.
So is he held hostage? And what might be holding him hostage?
I don't know what holds him, but I can tell him if he continues with these cabinet secretaries, the deputy has already bolted. Handshake alone will not be a legacy he will give us. Yeah. And I love my president, and I will tell him, I love you, the son of Jomo, I love you so much, but not handshake alone. I love handshake, I support, but that's not a legacy. We want to see affordable, good health care. Good food all over. You can eat 3 times in a day. If he left that for us, Kibaki left for us roads, even though we fought in between. But we will remember him kindly for a robust economy and good roads. And now here, handshake alone is not enough. He should call in his deputy president, they deliver on the 4 agenda items, then they wait kidogo. Otherwise, if he does not sack some of these guys he's around with, the goose is already cooked. 2 years is too little.
Honorable Mashako, what advice would you give the president? Because there is now the ranting and raving, but there's also the question of whether the Big 4 agenda is too wide an agenda right now, given the amount of time we have. And maybe that's why he's becoming more frustrated by the day. Because when he looks at the 4 items that he gave us as an agenda, none of them really seems to be getting to where they should be. Maybe he should just pick one and say, like Weda says, maybe if it was Kibaki, we would say roads. So maybe he picks healthcare or affordable housing or manufacturing.
I'll tell you, the Big 4 may be the reason why maybe the president is having this
frustrated
and very frustrated, because you look at even the resources that have been put to the Big 4. It tells you that the country is not ready for the Big 4. You know, I sit in the Budget and Appropriation Committee of Parliament, and you look at the numbers, you realize that most of the money that we are told, about 400 billion, is put on the Big 4. But out of that, only about 76 million is put on the real big four, the drivers of the big four. The rest is put on the enablers. And 2 years is a very short time to achieve anything meaningful. I would really agree with you when you say that the president should have picked 1 or 2 items, not 4. 4 is too many for the time remaining. And if it's, my advice to him would be, pick universal health care. That really sounds good for the country, because indeed, I think the biggest challenge our people are going through right now is issues of health. Issues of affordable health care. It's not the right time to bring it at this point, because 2 years is too little time, and we're not sure whether his successor, whoever it would be, will be able to run with this big four. In this country, we have a very beautiful document. We have Vision 2030 that spells a lot of items that need to be looked at. We have the medium-term plans that really are extremely good documents. But now introducing a big four where there are no resources allocated to it, indeed can be frustrating to the president. But having said that, I would also really look at the period the president has up to 2022, and how he's separating the issues of politics around his deputy and now MPs. And when he spoke yesterday, I felt that he was really addressing the members of parliament from central region, really, because you cannot stop. I think the quagmire here is, how do you stop the DP from doing politics, yet he's part of the presidency, really, and there's nowhere the president would really ask him to tone down, yet he's your principal deputy.
He's your principal deputy.
So he has, I think he needs they need to sit on a table, they need to do another lunch as they've done.
that they did earlier on in the year. All right, Honorable Elachi, your thoughts on whether maybe the president should just pick one and concentrate on that. Again, the CSs that he has may be letting him down, especially on delivering the big four, but he doesn't seem to want to do anything about it, because he has the power to do that.
I think, yes, he has the power. We thought in January he will do that. You remember there was a lot of rumors. And I think we will leave that to him. I think he has seen, for him to move. I'll say that when we came back, for example, the time of Kibaki. Remember when we did the referendum, we lost. And Kibaki realized, now, I just need to rethink. And he decided, let me first remove all my team, and then I'll bring them back, whether I'll pick a few from there. And I think he has to also think very radical at the moment, and feel what he doesn't need to follow, because as a leader you decide. And I think that's what the president has maintained, that people will say, but he'll do it in the right time and the way he would want. Even just reshuffle. You can't reshuffle them and move and pick those you feel are strong and put them in where your big four is. You need a very strong team. And not a team that will come and bulldoze, but a team that is able to negotiate, that is able to dialogue, both within the counties and at the national government. We have to also understand that while he says the four, he has to do it the Kibaki way. Kibaki followed Vision 2030, but there are those few pillars he picked and really ensured this is where my legacy will be. And I think the president, for the housing, I can see now he's really pushing. That will be one. And universal health care. So the challenge we need to ask ourselves is whether the CS can help him to now structure this manufacturing sector that we talked about. Because food security cuts across. Whether you have big four or you don't have big four, you must deal with food security. You must have, your country must have food.
So what advice would you give him in terms of now the big four, and also just to reduce his frustration and deliver? A legacy is what he's probably trying to protect or leave behind.
Yeah.
But the closer we get to 2022, the dimmer the lights, especially for Kenyans, look in terms of having that legacy.
First, I will advise ourselves as Jubilee, and I would want also the Secretary General of Jubilee to relook at how is the party also managing all this. Are we as a party within what the party says? Because as much as we talk about these other parties, by the way, Wiper, they listen to the party. You find ODM, they listen to the party. Jubilee, we must sit down and ask ourselves, how do we listen to the voice of the party now? And I would want the president with the same voice now to go back to Jubilee House Stand on Jubilee podium and now talk to your members as the leader of the political. Leave a bit this government thing. Now come to this party that you stood and everyone rode behind you. Like for Central Province, they should know we had members who are very strong who went to become independent candidates, but everyone used to put on Apostle Uhuru, meaning you needed Uhuru for you to win.
And no wonder even in his statement you were saying it's me who actually
which is true, you needed. So he needs to go to that Jubilee party and stand there and reorganize all his counties. Talk to the governors, because it's like even them, as council said, they have moved, but they are forgetting that you have a leader and you are the governors. If your county is the one that is now going astray on what the party leader is saying, then you organize. And when you're organizing, don't just organize the governors. Start with your MCAs. Sit down and tell them within this is the law. This is what we're going to follow. We are talking about corruption. I don't want to see my counties. How many are they? People in my counties are the ones every time at EACC. Put your riot act from the political party base.
Right.
Take over your party and stand with it.
Okay, what advice would you give the president at this point in time? What does he need to do from your opinion?
I think the president should concentrate on basically two things: affordable, quality healthcare, good one, universal for Kenyans, and then food security. Housing and so on, they are trying to force down the people's throats. That's not our priority with the little money we have. We have missed the railway going to Kisumu. I am still praying at the altar that Jehovah bring more money. That was the main thing I was looking for when I was standing with my president. Now we have missed that one. Now we cannot miss food. We can't. You see, I'm also an economist, reality. So my president should work on affordable, universal healthcare so that we don't end up mixing twins this easily. You understand? Things are done. I saw an hospital in Basra, in Iraq, at a cancer center. And we were seeing it over the TV. And I was telling my children, one thing which is striking is that the hospital is very clean. Very clean. You can't speak that of Kenyatta National Hospital. Kenyatta National was big when I was a small boy. Now I'm an old man. We should have one that is 10 times the size of Kenyatta. This is what the president now should think about in the remaining 2 years. Party, now you can leave that party for Honorable Raila and Honorable William Ruto and Mudavadi to organize. Going back to party now is too late.
Too late.
He can do this by sacking some of these charlatans he has. Especially the cabinet from home. There are some clique from home. They are incompetent but protected. So that, you know, every child in this country thinks he's only Magoa and Matiang'i, who are cabinet secretaries. Some of them we don't even know them. They are not doing anything. But they are from home, therefore you can only see them on TV looking very nice. Then when our rhinos die, then they say you can't do anything, you people. Surely. So he can take decisive action as he also, handshake should incorporate everybody. Raila is there, president is there, cajole the deputy president to join it. He has cajoled. Let the handshake be for everybody for the growth of this country. Otherwise, I can see the number 2 is taking traction. If this thing of money, new notes, because it was hoped new notes will collapse him. If the new notes do not collapse it, then the goose is cooked. The goose is cooked.
No. But I think in the end, the president will achieve. And one thing I respect my president is that he ensured the projects that Kibaki started have moved. All the feeder roads are now being worked on and they are open. So for me, within his legacy, whoever takes over will ensure. But what he needs to ask himself is to get a good, strong foundation for all these pillars.
Okay.
But more importantly now, pick 2 and make them move. And it's not the president. I think, as Council says, it is the CSS. I mean, they have let down the president, to be very honest. Let them work within their ministries. Let things move. Let us not rethink this odd concept. I thought we said it's a new dawn when we were on Thursday in the prayers. We said it's a new dawn. Then we got the new notes. Then we have a new budget of 3 trillion. Honestly, we cannot now say we cannot deliver this thing. Then we have a new tax man. And by the way, now my president is the real Joshua. When you look at the Bible and the work he's doing, it's like the real Joshua.
The real Joshua.
Ensuring he puts in, from the time we got a new constitution, he is the president who now brings in the new structures. People he will have a new auditor. He's going to have a new budget controller. So you're going to have new commissioners of lands, and I'm hoping they know it's a new dawn. You're not coming in with the old thinking, the old mindset.
Right. And I want us to wind up, and I must first of all commend and congratulate you, Madam Beatrice Elachi, on your dance moves on Friday. I was pleasantly surprised. As team embraced.
We were doing, one thing people, I always ask myself this thing. Waheshimiwas are just human beings like any other person.
For some reason, I think they're what I call larger than life. Sometimes we don't imagine you would dance like the rest of us, but it was good. But of course,
how do you know how do I dance? It was just natural.
And that's why
it was very natural.
You have been congratulated for dance officially.
And that's why I'm congratulating you. But moving now to Team Embrace, and maybe you can just give us where Team Embrace is headed, what the objective is at the end of the day, because we see them gather, meet in certain places, but maybe it's not yet clear to Kenyans what exactly is the objective.
No, our objective is very clear, that we come out of what the president is just saying, politics, and focus. And that is why, and one thing with Team Embrace, we don't just look at politicians. We are saying all women leaders join in and just let us go down there. Let us talk of peace. Look at how we are just dismantling our country because of politics that have not arrived. And may the Lord clear anyone, because we've reached a point in our country, Kenya. It is a matter of now asking God, anyone who will try and think that you must ascend to power through ensuring youth fight, people die, people bleed, for you to become a leader, may your children first pass on before other children come and pass
Very
on.
Strong words right there.
Yes, because it is wrong the way we are doing. And I think that is what we are saying. And we are not there to abuse each other. You are not there to come on the podium to abuse any leader. You must respect the president. You will respect the deputy. You will respect His Excellency Omolo Odinga. You will respect Musalia Mudavadi, my leader. You will respect Wetangula. You will respect Kalonzo Musyoka. Those are our leaders who are there. And they have regions. And there's no region that lacks a leader. And therefore respect that region. That's what we are saying. We are saying don't go in a region and undermine
the authorities
leaders
the leaders that are
but
there.
Don't come in Embrace trying to think you will play politics of 2022. We don't have politics of 2022. That's why when we are going in any region, we always enforce that let's go with development. Don't just walk into women and
when I
you
can
think,
see you
he
wants to weigh in.
He wants to weigh in because I don't want. All I want to plead is with the women. Yes. I've realized women, we can be very warmongers, stronger than men, I'm sorry to say. And I want to tell women today, women, we've been looking for leadership in our country. We were trained by Honorable Martha Karua, Ngilu, Beth Mugo, and many others. There's one thing they taught us, for us who had an opportunity to work around them. Whether you hate a woman, how? Whether you feel that woman, I don't like her, never abuse a woman in public. Never.
I guess that should apply also, never abuse a man in public.
Of course, yes, of course. That's why I'm saying, don't go there starting to abuse politicians.
All right, I need us to wind up.
All I can say is I have a shemeji called Njeri Onyango. I'm proud of her.
Thank you.
And I just wish that the MP who slapped this other MP, that my shemeji Njeri Onyango was the one in parliament, she slapped her. So you people need to go to dojo. You know what dojo is? No. So that when you're slapped around by some of these mad male MPs, you don't cry. You launch. Because the times are becoming hard. Even in heaven, God himself has an army.
You saw me.
Headed
that
by
is the army God sent me. That's why I never cried. Well, it depends. It depends.
Gabriel. Whenever there is war, God sends a legion.
I will slap you.
You people are talking about embrace, respect. Some leaders do not deserve any respect.
I know.
They are a problem that they should have gone long time. So please let nobody come in this area, my leader, my what. Let them earn it so that when we look at them, you just bow. And you tell me that this man who was slapping a female MP in the MP, this other one who is insulting another one, you are governor. When he comes, I say, hey, governor.
No.
You need just to stop.
I didn't say that.
I've told my daughters, I tell my daughters I expect.
But you don't slap. You know where to the channels
to draw the line. And I guess that respect is both ways.
Yes.
The leaders should be respected, but they should also respect their position.
Yeah.
Which is why we even need to rethink the word honorable. Yes. Why somebody like that would be called honorable beats logic, because really that is dishonorable behavior. Honorable Mwashako, I need your closing comments.
Thank you. I think I'll take it from my colleague Embrace. And I see that women in this country have chosen to create two factions. There's Embrace and there's another one, I think, called Inuamama. And as she says,
started in February with a very different
as she
agenda.
says, it's not political, but times will tell. I'll tell you, times will tell. When politicians come together, there must be an objective. And an objective here, they're saying we do not. This is where we want. Let's come together. Let's build cohesion. Let's embrace. But I can tell you, in the next, not even a year, the moment that Jubilee will pick in, not Jubilee as such, the handshake part of the politics will pick in a presidential candidate. Then at the time we'll know whether Embrace will continue embracing or because there's a chance that no one knows who will compete Deputy His Excellency Ruto in 2022. At the moment we come up with a candidate to compete Ruto, then that will be maybe the end of Embrace, and for me it will be a tragedy. And I want to really seek I really ask of you, please hold on. If you're serious and if you want to unite this country and embrace what the president is doing, let you not be divided by politics, because there's a chance. That pot has everybody. Trying to get space.
Which would be a good thing if it remains that way.
It remains that way. If it's not divided by the politics of 2022, because it's a matter of time.
Well, what I will say, I believe women should go in all political parties, because you can't lie to yourself that women can have their own political party here. No, the law does not even allow. So I always tell women, respect each other, because one has to be in ODM, the other one has to be. But when we are dealing with thematic areas the way Embrace is dealing, you did the vigil, you are finished. We are now really, really concerned about this early pregnancy issue, and we want to try and coalesce ourselves and see how again do we push government to understand this and many other issues that we feel we must deal with thematic areas where issues of concern for both men and women. But at the same time, we must be in WIPA, you must be in ODM, you must be in any other, you must be, if I decide the bus to come back, as the SG,
the bus comes back.
Yeah, the bus comes back. You can join the bus and others join others. But in the end of the day, you'll go into your politics. But we are saying when you come into this movement, we respect your party and come in as an inter-party person, understanding that you are women and this country is for all of us.
It's for all of us. I think that's the best place to close up. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. That's the way it is. Honorable Beatrice Elachi, Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly, Ambrose Weda, who's a lawyer, and Honorable Danson Mwashako, who's Member of Parliament, Wundanyi. Thank you for joining us this morning on The Way It Is. For now, we're going to take a short break right here on Morning Express, but do stay with us. We have Sports Chat, and remember, Robin Toskin had thrown a challenge on ice skating today. So, well, today is where they say the rubber meets the road, or shall we say the blade meets the ice. That's going to be happening